Ash woke up feeling as if every fiber of his body was in pain. He tried to spring back to his feet, looking for Raichu, but all he could do was sit up slightly and let out a pain-filled grunt. He saw Serena alongside a lady who looked exactly his mother's age. She introduced herself as Silver's mother, and Serena told him that she patched him up after the battle. Ash asks where Silver is, and they tell him that he left after the battle, as he didn't absorb the shockwave to the extent that Ash did. Ash, however, notices that Serena looked sad and probably had some bad news. He asked her what's wrong, to which she only utters the name Manky in a disheartened tone. For a moment, Ash's pain is completely taken over by a worry as he jumps out of the bed and asks if Manky is okay. He runs outside the house to see all of his Pokemon bathing in a small pond. They immediately run to him and embrace him. He noticed that Raichu still had some minor burns from the battle. He asks them if Manky is okay, and they all look down. Serena and Silver's mother, whom we are calling Grace in this story, walk out. Serena finally musters up some will to tell him that Manky left alongside Silver. Ash hears this and starts to laugh, thinking it's a joke. He laughs so hard that his ribs, which were still messed up from the battle, start to hurt. But then he notices the grim look on everyone else's face, and he realizes this is not a joke. His laughter fades away into an equally intense breakdown as he falls to his knees and sobs in disappointment and disbelief. Why did this have to happen? Why now? All his remaining Pokemon surround him, sharing the loss of their teammate. Grace kneels over and places a hand on Ash's shoulder, telling him it's going to be okay. Even when you think something's meant for you, it's ultimately meant for someplace else. And what is destined for you will eventually find you. Ash asks her if he did something wrong, and what if he wasn't good enough. Grace asks him if he knows anything about Pokeblocks, to which Ash, still weeping a bit, nods. She then describes that Pokeblocks come in different tastes: sweet, sour, salty and others. Some Pokemon like the sweet ones, some like the salty ones. That doesn't mean that the said Pokeblock was good or bad. It just depends on the choices made. Manky made the choice which he thought was right for him, while on the other hand all the rest of his Pokemon decided to stay with him, which they thought was right for them. She then goes on to tell Ash that at the end of the day, we all are the product of our choices. She tells Ash he has two options right here and right now. The first is to break down and prove that his other teammates were wrong for trusting him, or he can get back up and continue fighting and have the belief in himself and everything that he has learned so far to get to where he is, and prove that the rest of his team who decided to stay with him were correct in choosing him. Ash nods and wipes his tears away before looking back at the rest of his team. They were still there, waiting for their leader. Grace then looks at another Pokemon listening in on the conversation and tells him that this was meant for him as well. Ash and Serena look over to see the Machoke standing there. Grace describes that Machoke was the only Pokemon that Silver's father left behind, because at the time it was only a Machop and it was meant as a gift for Silver. But he resented it because he was still dealing with his father walking away, and the Machop reminded him of the times he used to spend at the gym watching his father battle. This is where Ash learns that Silver's father was none other than Giovanni, the former gym leader of the Viridian city and one of the strongest trainers in the Kanto region. It then dawns upon him that he has been living the exact same life that Silver always wanted. He was fortunate enough to have Surge and Viscez as mentor and parent figure, and all the facilities in the world available at his footsteps in the Vermilion City gym, something that was taken away from Silver, and then it struck him. Maybe Manky felt the same way. It was never able to beat Raichu in a fair fight, and the electric type always had a head start on him. His training methods were the exact opposite of what a Pokemon like Manky knew. Manky was a natural leader. It was a tough-nosed brawler who relied on hyper-aggression and fighting on instincts and with a chip on his shoulder, while Ash's training methods were strategic, game plan and experience-oriented, instead of coming up with things on the fly, which is exactly something that Manky has done all his life, long before Ash captured him. Grace tells them that Silver was so broken after the departure of his father that he abandoned everything that he had learned from Giovanni and developed his own battling style, completely different from that of his father, and Machoke was not able to adjust to this change, as both its parents were raised in the gym, so it was in his blood to battle the same style that Giovanni used to. She then asks Ash and Serena if they could help Machoke train alongside the rest of his Pokemon while they stayed here, and Ash and Serena immediately agreeing, agreed to this, saying it's the least they can do. So for the next few days, Ash and his Pokemon recover and they do some light training alongside Serena's Pokemon, who are training for the upcoming contest in Vermilion. Machoke was a bit hesitant and awkward at first, but slowly starts to ease into the training. When the group is fully healed, they decide to depart. They thank Grace and promise to visit again. Before they leave, Grace looks at Machoke and asks him if he wants to go along. He immediately shakes his head, but Grace reassures him that she will be okay on her own, and Silver visits her from time to time now that Charizard can fly, and he will be happy for him. Ash tells Machoke that he will not capture him in a Pokeball just yet, until Machoke watches him in his next gym battle, which will be a rematch against Janine. Only after that battle will Machoke make his choice as to whether Ash is a worthy trainer for him or not. Grace smiles and recalls Machoke back into a Pokeball and hands it over to Ash, saying she's sure that Ash will take good care of him. She then asks which route they are planning to take, to which Ash and Serena tell her that since they don't have any bikes, they will probably have to take the longer route. Grace chuckles and tells them she has just the thing that will help them out. She walks over to a garage and unlocks it to reveal an old modeled motorbike. Although the build was of a decade ago, it still looked well greased up and in a good condition. She tells them that it belonged to Giovanni, but now it just stayed parked up eating rust. Silver doesn't even look at it, as all it does is remind him of his father. So ultimately, the bike just stays here, takes up space, and she has to clean it every time. Ash tells her that they can't just accept something so expensive and memorable, but Grace reassures them by saying that they could just return it the next time they visit. So with that, Ash and Serena set off towards Fuchsia City via the cycling road, where his next gym battle awaited him. And yeah, in this story, Ash already knows how to ride a boat. So let's just assume that he knows how to ride a bike, okay? And plus I know all you Serena Sims out there, you love this. Okay, so let's just roll with it. Somewhere else, Silver and Nappa are training for his own gym battle against the Saffron City gym leader. Nappa asks him if it is the time to test that one out, and Silver nods before sending out Manky. Ever since Manky joined his team, Silver trained him alongside the rest of his Pokemon, but never had any sparring sessions between them. This was going to change now. He sent out his Dodrio too. Manky and Dodrio both looked at Silver, waiting for his orders, but Silver tells them to fight as per their own will and just try to win without any orders. Although hesitant, they both begin the battle. And although Dodrio has the advantage in typing and moveset, it seems lost without orders. Manky on the other hand seems comfortable battling on its own and overwhelmed the three-headed bird before knocking it out with a seismic toss. Silver recalled Dodrio and smiled at Manky, thinking this one's a bit different. Nappa tells him it would probably be a good idea to use Manky at the fighting dojo to gain further improvements. Silver nods before telling Nappa that he should head over to Fuchsia City and then to Viridian City to learn about the battling style of the gym leaders and also help Grace with some stuff on the way. Nappa nods before departing. Ash arrives at the Fuchsia City gym alongside Serena and makes his way, bypassing all the traps that were set up. It was his third time entering the gym, so by now he was kinda used to this stuff. Ash notices Janine waiting for him at the center of the gym, and he tells her that as per their deal, he had won 4 badges in total, which made him eligible to rematch her right here and right now. Janine agrees, saying that she knows as she watched the replays, and although he has improved, it will not be enough to beat her. Ash smirks and asks if the rules will be same as the last time, to which Janine nods. They both send out their first Pokemon, with Ash sending out Nidorino and Janine sending out her Nidoqueen, making it a rematch in itself. Unlike the previous battle, Nidorino matched every move and made it a close back and forth battle. Although Nidoqueen still had the power advantage, Nidorino was dialed, taking a hit to return 2 more. Ash orders Nidorino to use a double kick followed by a horn attack immediately, and Nidoqueen could barely react to such a pace and begins to get tired. Janine was taken aback by the growth of the young poison type, but still had the move in her arsenal which beat Nidorino the last time. She orders an earth power, and this is exactly what Ash was waiting for. He orders a brand new move that Nidorino learned from Slowbro, Water Pulse. The bubble of water tears through the earth power and catches both Nidoqueen and Janine by surprise. it knocks the fully evolved poison type out, giving Ash the lead. Ash smirks confidently as Nidorino had evened it out with its evolution. Janine tells Ash to wipe that smirk off his face, as it's not over until it's over. She sends out her second Pokemon, Muck. But again, this was a variant, which Serena recognizes from Alola on her Pokédex. Ash orders another combination with Horn Attack and Water Pulse. Nidorino stabs the Muck with its horn, but all it does is send himself flying back from Muck's spongy type body. Nidorino prepares a Water Pulse midair, but Janine orders a Thunder Punch, to which Muck extends his sludge arms all the way to Nidorino and smashes it with the Thunder Punch attack. And it has the effect which was the last thing Ash wanted to happen. It leaves Nidorino paralyzed, taking away its speed advantage. Janine orders a Body Slam to finish it off, and Ash desperately orders for a double kick, but Nidorino is unable to move and is taken out by the Body Slam. Ash thanks it for a great battle before recalling it and sending out his second Pokemon, Kangaskid. The Joey Pokemon looks ready to throw down. Janine orders another Thunder Punch, and Ash does the same. Despite Muck's stretchable arms, Kangaskid proves to be the better puncher thanks to its training with Raichu, and connects with two powerful Thunder Punches, one on Muck's belly and another one on its head. Janine smiles and tells Ash that once again he fell straight into her trap, and orders Muck to use a poison gas attack, which Kangaskid is unable to dodge and is left on a timer due to the poison. Ash, however, had prepared for such a scenario and tells Kangaskid to use Facade, which is a move that is powered up when a Pokemon is inflicted with a status condition, and this inflicts some major damage on Muck. Kangaskid uses all its remaining energy to overwhelm Muck with repeated Facade attacks before finally going down to the poison, but in doing so, it took the bulky tank Pokemon with it. Ash recalls his fallen Pokemon, stating that it exceeded his expectations. Both Ash and Janine ready their final Pokemon, and they finally send it out. Ash sends out his Dratini, and Janine goes with her Galarian wheezing. Janine asks if Raichu is scared to fight, and Ash coldly replies by saying that he's resting. Janine orders the first attack, Strange Stream, which Dratini uses an Iron Tail to cut through. Ash orders Dratini to charge through, as Janine calls him an amateur for repeating the same mistake twice, and orders a Poison Gas. Dratini is hit by the Poison Gas, but lands with the Iron Tail anyways, causing decent damage. Then, to Janine's frustration, Dratini sheds its skin completely, thus taking away its status problem with it. Thus, all three of Ash's Pokemon were able to completely neutralize the poison factor for this battle, taking away a major part of Janine's game. However, Weezing's pure strength and bulkiness was a threat on its own, and despite Dratini trying its best to make the fight as chaotic as possible, Weezing, with the type advantage, was able to slow down the pace and slowly wear down Dratini. After getting hit with a powerful Strange Stream and being on the verge of getting finished, Dratini starts to glow in response. All the training having finally paid off, it undergoes its evolution into Dragonair, and now with the power gap closed, it is able to connect with powerful Iron Tails before overpowering Weezing's Strange Stream attack with its newest move, Hyper Beam. A bright yellow blast of energy cuts through the Strange Stream and lands on Weezing, sending it crashing into the wall and knocking it into unconsciousness, winning the battle for Ash and the Soul Badge with it. Janine hands him over the Soul Badge but tells him that they are 1-1, and the next time they battle, she will not battle as the gym leader, but as an elite Pokemon trainer instead. Ash tells her that he will be waiting before he departs with Serena, now with his 5th badge in hand. Elsewhere, Silver arrives at the fighting dojo, ready to take on the Elder Black Belt and his Hitmonlee. The battle starts as Silver once again tells Manky to battle on its own. He just gives him a simple hint that the key to beating Hitmonlee is closing the distance, which would take away Hitmonlee's long kicks, but it can figure out how to do it on its own and battle as it sees fit. Manky just smiled before nodding and springing into action. The Elder is taken aback by the odd approach, but still orders Hitmonlee to use a rolling kick, which Manky jumps over the kick and connects with a karate chop. It's a back and forth striking battle, but Hitmonlee has the upper hand due to the experience, although Manky makes up for it in pure grit and toughness. All Silver does is give out some slight hints, and Manky does the battling on his own. As the battle drags on, Manky seems to be getting better and better, finally unleashing its full potential and eventually triggering its evolution into Primeape. The evolved big monkey lets out its newest move, Close Combat, which was honed in this battle itself. The close combat attack batters the kicking Pokemon and beats the brakes off it and puts it down for good. Silver smirks at the sight, realizing just what kind of power he has in his arsenal now. And guys, that's where I'll be ending this part. Sorry if it was a bit short. I'm just trying to get used to this once again, as it was a bit awkward narrating after so long. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. The next video will be a brand new series, which will hopefully be out sometime this week. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for watching, guys.